Hey everyone, welcome to Miners Oasis. I'm the Bitcoin Broski here tonight with Crypto Chris Walken, and I'm sure excited as always, Whale Bearman. What's up, guys?
Hi.
I knew he was going to do that. I was going to be Wilbur Man tonight. Hey.
Hey guys.
Hey
I
guys.
try to be more energetic this time.
Mining's cool.
I love
That was
mining
good.
crypto.
That was good. This is the most exciting hour of my day. Guys, honestly, I'm excited that we're here now for episode 5. Holy shit, we made it 5 episodes.
Woo!
Thank you to those of you who continue to tune in and check us out as we talk mining, proof of work coins, and proof of work season in general. So today, I know we've got a lot that we want to discuss. There's a couple of coins that we are going to talk about. Caliber Cash is one, and the other is Snow Blossom. You guys need to work on that name, but whatever. We're going to talk about it anyway. And we were going to talk about Pennycoin, but we are going to hold off on that for now and maybe do a deeper dive into that on a separate show. But there's a lot of great projects. Those of you who are on the chat, feel free to let us know if you've got questions or if there's a particular project you'd like us to dig into towards the end of the show. But as always, we are going to kick things off today talking about some mining deals and what's going on in that world. So, Walken, what do we got, man?
Yeah, so first big news, I think people were seeing that the 1080 Ti price was going back up. So there was a news article released that apparently NVIDIA is discontinuing the 1080 Ti. So that would most likely be why the price is going back up. So basically they're going full bore on their RTX series. But another weird caveat is they just re-released the 1060 with SLI support. No idea why, but I don't know, cash grab, maybe they're going to make that their new low end. Yeah, they're going to make that their new low end card. But
I think this has to do with the amount of people like recirculating their GPUs out and them losing profit margins. And then they were like, hey, actually, we made a shit ton of money from miners the past couple of years. And how do we make that, continue to fix those margins? Because there's no other reason. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, also watch Newegg, because not only for the Black Friday deals, but they are dumping graphics cards in huge numbers. Like I picked up my 470s for $89 a piece, and they were selling them by like the 20. And now they have the 8 gigs for like $100. The 570s, 580s are dropping, mostly because the 590s coming out soon. So they're getting rid of their stock on that. So, and there's a couple of videos out, but AMD started talking about their Navi chip, their 7 nanometer Vega replacement. So I think they're looking at like March on that one right now.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So we are coming into an exciting time of year. I think right now everyone's been riding this wave of profitability. At least anyone who's been mining or focused on proof of work coins over the last couple of months, they're doing very, very well right now. There is a big mining story that is really coming to the tipping point. We've got a couple of days here now until Bitcoin Cash fork. I don't know if you guys actually give a shit about this or if it matters to you one way or the other. Do you guys have any thoughts on what's going on with Bitcoin Cash SV and Bitcoin Cash ABC?
ABC 1, 2, 3.
I think for me, it's just like a full circle and just really hilarious to see. And it's, I mean, the people involved, I don't want to get too involved in politics or whatever, but I mean, if you remember last year with like the New York agreement and all that stuff that kind of was causing a lot of problems in the market and with miners and stuff like that. Like now they're going back on all their claims and they're, forking is bad now. Like we shouldn't allow forks to happen this freely. And they're seeing that they literally attacked Bitcoin and now they're getting attacks with themselves. So it's kind of crazy to watch. It's actually a really great thing to learn from a protocol perspective and from a like security perspective as well, because this is gonna, if they really are gonna be doing these hash wars, we're gonna be able to actually see how people are gamifying bigger hash farms and seeing what they're gonna attack next. I mean, for me, that's what I would kind of want to see. I don't really care about the coins themselves. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know which coin's going to be the winner. I'm staying out of it, so I don't really care.
So I think Whale Panda, if you saw his tweet, pretty much summarized it when he said, BCH during fork with BTC.
Oh yeah.
Nodes don't matter. Miners decide. Forks are just an upgrade mechanism. The longest chain matters. 1 year later, nodes matter. No one runs SV. Miners shouldn't decide. Users should. SV fork is an attack. Longest valid chain matters.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it right there. Gets a good summary. I think yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be really crazy to see because it was, if you remember Operation Operation Red Dragon, that was like all the miners were talking about during the Bitcoin fork, the Bitcoin Cash fork. That was like a hash war in the beginning.
Yeah.
They were literally spamming Bitcoin transactions too. Up until like I think like 3 months ago, they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So
what comes from all this though?
Well,
you're going to have two separate projects, or is one going to win and the other die? Are we talking Game of Thrones here?
It's going to be like any other Bitcoin fork. It's just going to fucking die. Like, I really think all those are just going to die. And then they'll have random pumps out of nowhere. It's going to be like any other Bitcoin fork, in my opinion. And you know what? Like, we're starting to see that these forks are super defenseless on large mining farms to do 51% attacks, and exchanges started taking hits a lot this year from 51% attacks, and people doing double spins. And there's some exchanges like require like an insane amount of confirmations now before a transfer is even valid on their exchange. So I would expect to see some of that to happen going into next year.
All right. So that's really the only piece of news, if you will, that we wanted to cover. Unless there's something that I'm missing that you guys wanted to talk about.
Did you watch the Roger Ver thing where he's like, it's hard to admit when you've been fooled?
With his minibar?
Yeah.
I mean, I actually kind of felt bad for him. I mean, honestly, like I don't really know all that's going on, but I mean, if he really like was fooled by that guy, CSW, then I don't know. Maybe he's not as smart as everyone makes him out to be. But I kind of felt like he was pretty desperate in that video, and I kind of felt a little bit bad for him. But overall, I mean, it's kind of like full circle. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really give a shit, honestly. I don't hold any Bitcoin Cash. I don't care about the fork. I mean, it's something that is unfortunate. I think all it does is make Bitcoin look like crap. It makes it look like a bunch of kids that can't agree on anything, when all we're supposed to be doing is building something that's a consensus system that allows us all to rule ourselves. But all these people are getting into pissing contests, and I think that, like, honestly, Craig Wright, the way that he carries himself, fuck, man, the guy, he's just never been punched in the face, right? Like,
yeah.
You can tell, you meet those people, right? You meet those people from time to time. You're like, man, no one's ever punched this guy in the face. Like, if he'd ever just been punched once, he never would talk like this.
I don't know. So I think he still would.
And I don't know, man. I think Roger Ver and Craig Wright are both in that same boat. Well, Roger, I think, went to jail, so he might have taken one in the chin. But I'm still talking about a fist, maybe. But
Roger gets a lot of bad shit. I think his head's in a good place. I think he just was hanging around the wrong crowd, to be honest. I mean, Roger has done a lot of shit for the space, and he's
for sure
invested in a lot of these companies that no one else wanted to touch, and helped, get it to where it is today. But, at some point, sometimes it's like you got to come back to your roots, I think. I think that's what he's discovering. So,
are you saying he's coming back to Bitcoin? Is he coming back to Bitcoin?
Daddy's coming home.
Roger, Daddy's coming home. Roger, come home. I miss you, Dad.
Come back. Stop confusing people.
Oh, fuck. All right, let's continue. This is getting weird.
Moving on. So, the market's been a little bit wacky today, but holding strong are a lot of the POW coins that we've been talking about. over the past couple of weeks. We've got a couple that we're going to cover today. I think the first one we should jump into, I mean, you guys call it, I don't care. You guys want to talk about Snow Blossom or Caliber Cash first?
Let's just hit Snow. I got Snow Blossom pulled up right now.
Snow Blossom. All right.
Oh,
This is, yeah. So the website is snowblossom.org. We can just jump right in on all of this. I mean, honestly, from looking at the website,
the website is terrible.
that bear tree says it all. I think
Oh.
that's just like, if you're going to have that as the first image on your website, at least put some fucking content on your page. Like, don't make your page a leafless tree as well.
I
like,
kind
hey,
of feel like this is
the
when I was in
Michael-
6th grade, and I took an HTML course to learn how to make a website. This is what I feel like I made.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at their Block Explorer right now.
There's a lot of love for this project, by the way. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that have been showing a lot of love to Snow. I know that we may throw a little bit of shade, but just as always, the disclaimers, I mean, we're not financial advisors. What we're saying shouldn't be taken as financial advice. We're looking at this through our own lenses when we come into every project assuming it's a scam and letting the project prove us otherwise. So any shade that we're throwing, if your project can stand the test, then at the end of this, then we'll have good things to say. But usually at the beginning, we're just talking shit. To be honest, let's be fair.
So it just, I mean, yeah, their website's rough. I did look up some of their Bitcoin talk announcements.
GitHub is okay.
Let's see.
Interested to see how old this project is.
GitHub looks.
I mean, and this is on, I don't think this is on any real exchanges right now. I think we're looking at, if I'm not mistaken, let me see. Qtrade. Qtrade.io.
I like their wiki.
Not used.
Like that, their wiki is really cool to have. They don't really need a website if they have this.
See what happens, guys?
Yeah.
Redeem the qualities. So, okay, so I think that one of the problems that we're starting to see is that there's no differentiators between a lot of these projects, right? You have so many projects that are coming out now that I mean, really, you could put any name on top of this wiki and read down through those first bullet points. And it would almost fit the bill, right? Simple, scalable, portable, quantum tough, genuinely ASIC resistant, low energy, ready to go block explorer, pool miner software. I mean, I think obviously people are worried about the code. The devs are focused on getting that, getting everything right. So it's good. I don't know. For me, as someone who is not, I mean, I'm not the tech guy, right? I come at this from a trading perspective. I'm relatively new to mining, but when I look at this, it's just it's too soon for me to make a play on it. How's mining? Is it profitable?
I looked today. I couldn't even find it.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how a lot of these are. Like, until they're on an exchange or they're really known, it's hard to find. You're basically basing your prices off of OTC and your electricity cost, and then you figure out your profitability.
Yeah, and right now we are at, let's see, 40,000 sats. So 40,000 sats right now. Looks like we are up about 11% on the day. I don't know where Qtrade is based, so I don't know when their close of business is.
So one thing is their snow fields. So because how they're being ASIC resistant is that they have large data files that is hard for them to be on chip. So like I guess that's one of their differentiators. And they have snowstorms. Kind of unique things.
And see, looking at that, one of the problems that they're going to have if they're listening to this is there's already a pretty strong brand that has a lot of snow elements in the work that they do, and that's hydrogen. They have their different protocols that they come out with. I think they've got Snowflake, and I know we're running out of names here in crypto, but especially since they're so young, or I should say they're not as well known as they will be soon. Snow is a good ticker, but this could be a rough one for them if they don't rebrand at some point.
I need to see the mining profitability, but it might.
Where not? So I mean, if it's not on What's a Mine, where do you guys look? Is it possible to find it anywhere else? How do you have to figure that out?
I'm looking everywhere. Crypto Compare, it's not on there. It's not on coin calculators. It's not on Crypto Zone.
Is anyone in the chat now?
Q Trade's based in Kansas. Okay, yeah. If anyone has any info on Snow Blossom's mining profitability, let us know. Anyone mining it? If you are, let us know. We have questions. Okay. Discord, about 1,000 members. I don't know, 830 members. Not bad. So I don't know. I think this is a project I'd just wait and see on. For mining, maybe. The real question is it going to be more profitable to focus attention on Snow Blossom than it would be something else? Right now, there's so many good plays.
Yeah, I mean, they already got miner software and everything ready to go. It's probably just something that you just test out. See what you can get from it.
Okay. All right. So that's Snow. Anything else you guys want to talk about with this? I don't know how I feel about it. But
no, not really.
Okay.
I think it's another early one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So moving on I think this is the one that is getting the most hype on Twitter right now. Of the proof of work coins that haven't yet pumped on an exchange, and that is Caliber Cash. So caliber.cash is the website. Maybe they're just Caliber. Let's just call them Caliber. I think that's actually the correct name. It's a CryptoNote coin. V8. Total supply is 18.4 million. And I will say right now on their Discord, the price is going nuts.
Yes.
So, I can see what that was, but last I checked, people were asking crazy amounts. I saw 50, 60,000 sats for these OTC.
So, disclaimer, I did mine this the first week that it came out. And I think at the time in the Discord, their OTC was around 20,000 Satoshi. And now I'm seeing it go for like 60 to 70. And another big thing is that there's a countdown somewhere. I haven't checked it. It's a day or two, but the block reward is going from 8.7 cal to 2.1 cal per block. So I will say that that's most likely already been priced in because of right there, syntax 2 BTC ask at 100,000 Satoshi. So yeah, it's going nuts right now.
Yeah. So let's talk about the project. What do you guys think about? How was it to mine first and foremost?
So I'll tell you, it sucked, and that's been the biggest complaint with everyone. I think it's between the pools that it's on, and I don't know if it's just I don't know how it is now. I mined it like the first week, but I still have heard some complaints. It's just been rough to mine. I think it's mostly an issue of hash rate, but I don't know. I got a decent amount the first week. But it's definitely profitable mine right now at these prices.
Well, I would imagine. So on something like that, what is it? I mean, what's the cost of mine? What's your break even?
Hold on. I can go off of Kryptonite V8 really quick. So this kind of takes extra math just because it's not on any calculators yet either.
I will say for their roadmap, this quarter they've got their network launch, exchange listings, build community, white paper version 1. Bitcoin talk. I like it. Nice and organized. I think the team the team has 0.97% of these held back, if I'm correct. Pretty sure that's the case. I like it. Excited for it to
of
change.
course, they're adding in bulletproofs, caliber. Good joke.
What have you got? What do you got over there, Whale Bear Man? What you thinking?
So yeah, I mean, you can only OTC or mine it for now. If mining simplified, like Hawkins was saying, then yeah, I'd give this a shot.
What do you guys think about the actual project? Do you think it's something that actually will be used?
I mean, it's a lot of these, you know, these private coins are popping up. I still think the private sector in crypto is still very, very, very young. And they're, you know, obviously trying to figure out how to make it the most lightweight with these ring signatures. So for me, like from a fundamental standpoint, like they're not doing anything that's, you know, crazy new or something, you know, like whenever we talked about Mimblewimble and stuff coming out in the future. Like they're not really doing anything too crazy for me to be like, oh my god, this is amazing. But they, you know, they are the more testing that gets out there and the more stuff that actually integrates, you know, lightweight privacy coin, I think the better obviously these coins will do. The economics on this, the coin economics aren't bad. I think it, you know, overall, I think that this could be one that does pretty well out of the ones that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like Kevin was saying that, and I've seen in the Discord as well, that like the major concern is that pre-mine. And I know Punisher brought it up that they have the address in there for people to watch it, but you know, no one still really knows like what they're doing with that. So unless someone in the chat knows, but I know people are kind of worried with them dumping on everyone. Possibly.
I don't like that at all.
Not saying they will, but
well, just like the last project that we looked at, right? And we were worried about the pre-mine that the devs had, and then they said,
you know, whatever it was.
They said that it's, you know, it's in a safe, and only him and one other dev have access to it. It's like, okay, but there's no fail safes there, you know, like you need to have a multi-sig wallet with a non-involved third party that handles that. And that's one of the things that I just get really upset about on, you know, these projects is there's ways now out there where they could, you know, set a roadmap or set some kind of metrics that say whenever we do X, then we get, you know, Y amounts of tokens. And you know, you could do that and it would make it super transparent and really great to see in a coin. And I don't know why people aren't doing it. Like it's annoying.
Well, and there's been such a big push in this space over the last couple of months to up transparency and, you know, in all things. I mean, you would think that right now, I mean, people are looking out for shady shit, right? Like when you're looking at a project, that's like one of the first things that you're looking for nowadays, because most of the people that are still in crypto have been here long enough to have gotten burned at some point in time. So people are actually paying attention to this kind of stuff. So for a team to not be forthcoming or to have that already laid out is just, in my personal opinion, just, you know, bad management of a company or of a project.
Well, that's the problem, is these projects just act like projects and not companies, right? I think it's going to get to a point to where these crypto projects are going to start, putting out quarterly reports and shit like that. I think a couple of them actually do right now. But it would be great to see like a third party audit of these projects and what they're doing with these funds, and if are they hitting their metrics. I think that would be important.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to something like that, how much emphasis do you guys place on CoinGecko or something that's ranking devs? Do you guys ever, do you look at those? Do you pay attention to those numbers?
Sometimes I do. I think it's important, but then you always get into the gaming theory where like how are these guys getting rated, and is there a potential for someone to like mess with the stats? But I think it's important to have. I definitely think that self-regulation in this space is super important, and we could do it ourselves if we just start holding people accountable for things, and that's one way to do it.
Yeah, Punisher just brought up that I guess they asked an hour ago in the Discord what's going on with the pre-mine. They're still waiting on an answer. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean that's just something that you gotta. There needs to be some kind of communication, even if it's just a hey, wait and see. We're preparing an official response. Holding off and not addressing something is bad. But I mean, at this point, right now, if they answer that question, I mean, dude, there's a lot of people that just bought the top on this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've got the block reward changing, you've got bad news coming out, this project could die if they don't handle the situation properly.
I will say, when we were talking about OTC last week, this was the coin I was hinting at when we were talking about to make sure that you don't buy it too high before it goes on an exchange. So I would definitely be leery of this right now.
Verbatim, you said that.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's true. I mean, you think about it. Look at projects look at comparable projects with comparable supplies that have active dev teams that have been building projects for a while, right? 50, 60, 100,000 sats in this market right now for something that does. I mean, there's nothing really unique about this, right? Like, what justifies that other than hype? And
yeah,
I mean, we'll see. I mean, hey, more power to them. Hopefully, everyone makes as much money as they can on this. I do like their website. I think their website's great. I think their project could have a big impact. Be nice to see them handle the pre-mine thing properly. But, all things considered, they'll probably, I mean, even if it's not handled properly, this will be something that bounces back, because now you've got some bag holders that are pretty prominent people in the space. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Caliber pay room, whatever. That looks
yeah,
cool.
That is cool.
We'll see where that goes. I think I'll start messing with it once they deliver on some of these roadmaps.
Waiting on things to materialize in Twitter is dangerous, huh? Or in crypto, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So, guys, what else? I know we wanted to talk about OTC and Escrow, but for those of you on the chat, if there's any project you'd like us to jump into, feel free. Someone is asking, what's behind Walk-In?
Oh yeah, my shiny rig of RGB. Yeah, it's fully built now. I got the other 4 cards in, so it's going. I haven't had time to BIOS flash the new cards yet, but it's going strong. Mine is CLO. I know how much you guys love that when I brought it up last week. So I did start staking. I started that yesterday, and it's for those that are on CLO, it's easy as hell. Like, I literally went on the Callisto wallet, basically through my Ether wallet, and you just hit start staking, add in your amount, and go. You send it to an address, it stakes for 27 days, and pull the rewards. So basically, I'm going to do what I said last week. Let it go for 27 days, add in what I mine, do it again, just keep doing it. So, and I will say to the people, if you do it the next 3 months, the rewards are higher than they will be, because this is kind of the test net. You're not technically staking. This is like the test portion. So the staking rewards are going to get lower over the next 3 months, and then in 3 months they're forking again, and then the actual cold staking starts. So it's actually a really good time to do it right now. You'll get extra.
Extra.
Well, hey, extra's a good word.
Hey,
what was that?
Back to the Bitcoin Cash forks right now. The Bitcoin Cash SV has gone parabolic, apparently.
IOU should actually be their new ticker.
Yeah, it's an IOU, and obviously that's for, I think, on a couple websites that are offering swaps right now. But you basically put your Bitcoin Cash in there, and then you convert it to SV or ABC.
Correct. Yeah. Is that Bitfinex you're looking at?
Yeah, this is SV. So the IOU SV has definitely been a good play for now. Just if you're playing these, make some money, like have in your head what you want before you get into it, and then just get out. Like make it quick, get out, and then be done with it. And then wash your hands and clean your whole body off for doing this. But it's something that you need to be very careful with because these things can go one way or the other very, very quickly, especially with how vocal, all these guys are. Like they could say some crazy stuff and make the price go one way or the other. And they got a lot of Bitcoin in reserves to mess with prices. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting, especially with the news today. It's probably pumping like this because there was the news out of Bitmain that Jihan Wu has been removed as the executive chair or whatever his position was. Whether or not that's FUD or that's actual news is something else entirely. It was posted on CCN, which is not, in my opinion, the most credible source of information. But that was the report. So that would make sense as to why SV is pumping now. I would assume that once everything comes to light as to what actually occurred with Bitmain, then that'll change things because Bitmain deployed 90,000 ASICs last week to win the hash war. So I mean, you can't fuck with them, right? Like you just can't. Like they make the equipment and they're in a place where they can pay a government and deploy whatever they need to deploy as quickly as possible. And I mean, do it for what when it comes to energy? I mean, I don't know.
Be interesting to see.
It will
mess with this trade a little bit.
jump in on the shorts. Get ready. I think everyone's ready for that nasty short that's going to come. Did Bitcoin Cash already dump? I know it was in the process of going today. I think everything kind of dumped today, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. It wasn't too crazy. I mean, people feel like it dumped because the market's been pretty stagnant, but yeah, I think Bitcoin Cash is definitely having a fall off right now. But I wouldn't be. My problem with going too short or going long on these kind of plays is there's no TA that you can do. It's this more like fundamental and just making a quick flip and then getting out. So like from a TA perspective, there's really it could go one way or the other. You just got to be careful. And I streamed with Hackerman Ace over, I think last week, and we were looking at like alts and looking at setups for weights for waiting to buy, and a lot of them are kind of falling down again. But yeah, like this dip right here on some of these alts are going to be healthy and a nice opportunity to pick some up. Gunther says new coin B SHA 3 by Z Classic and Bitcoin Private. Thoughts?
B SHA 3.
Yeah, I actually pulled the Bitcoin Talk announcement while you were talking. I'm looking at it right now. I can't remember where I saw it. I think someone actually might have brought it up on my Telegram, but I didn't get a chance to look into it.
Let's see.
It says all instances of SHA-256 have been replaced with SHA-3. So I'm guessing ASIC.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So SHA-256 is replaced with SHA-3.
Not really finding anything other than the Bitcoin talk. Do you guys have?
Yeah, that's all I'm seeing right now.
Yeah,
There's
that
not
and
much on
GitHub.
there. How's the GitHub look?
I didn't dig into it yet. I'm interested in to see why this would be more economically efficient.
So it uses KEKAC. So there's actually a CPU miner and a GPU miner. So it's
Is there a
not
GPU
ASIC.
miner yet?
It says it's under development. So right now it's CPU only.
Okay.
They're waiting on contributions from people. It's actually kind of cool. They did pre-mine up to block 250 though.
Mhm. And what was it? 50 coins per block. This is actually pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to dig
it is.
into this a little bit more because, well, so my problem is you have SHA-256, and that's like the standard right now, right? So
Yeah.
this SHA-3, I guess, or SHA-3D, like, yeah, it's got to be tested, and like, is it really going to be that big of a difference? Like, I'm just not sure. See the GitHub. Pretty active on the GitHub. Oh, here's the bshot3.com. It's just the source code, official block explorer, and downloads. And then also in the Bitcoin talk, the guy John Layton, he said, after this announcement, though, nothing about the protocol and its function belongs to me. He's out. So it's going to be community driven.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing.
It looks like people are having issues trying to mine this.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. I'm just scrolling through the Bitcoin talk announcement.
Two-week confirmation period. Yeah, it's
Yeah, they're talking about block confirmations are terrible. I mean, you can't really be too critical. It's a brand new algorithm. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks. I mean, it doesn't look bad though. I mean, the fact that it's moving to a community-driven project. I mean, there's definitely something to it. I'd love to find out more about the actual use of all of it. Let me see. Okay, so I think for that one, we just it's a little too early to really give a clear opinion on that. We agreed.
Good eye, though. Good looking.
Yeah.
like I might look at it and then we can bring it back up next episode.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, thanks for
They'll
the
probably
mention.
they'll probably have more in it too because there's actually a lot of chatter on the Bitcoin talk announcement. So there might be more next week.
So there was another that that someone mentioned there in the chat. Kevin wanted our thoughts on VEO.
Yeah, so I looked. It's not technically mineable.
Mm-hmm.
It's So basically, they use GPU power for streaming and stuff. It's like another streaming service. I looked at this a couple days ago too. Somebody brought it up, but it's. Hold on, let me go back to the Bitcoin talk. Viewo.com, VIEWO. And it's ICO.
Ooh, ICO bench rating 4.5. I don't know. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it for Whale Bear Man. It sounds like a scam. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Just this is a project that, yeah. Anyways, maybe on another show we can cover that. It's something that usually we want to stick to proof of work coins here. Someone asked if CLO the reason that is CLO the reason that ETC didn't moon on the Coinbase listing.
No, CLO caused a moon and then screwed Whale Bear Man.
Yeah.
It drove ETC up to $40 in May. So
Yeah,
There
and
you
then it's like they messed up the whole fork and everything, and it just shat itself. So
That's the technical term. It shat itself. That's
yeah.
all
Yeah,
right.
like,
So
yeah, I don't know. CLO, you're doing the staking and everything, right? So
Yeah.
you're loading up on the pump of the network launch or whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
do you guys have other projects that you're just like, I wouldn't fucking trade that no matter what?
Not really.
Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, like Verge and shit like that. I mean, like I'll it's kind of hard to say like don't trade that shit because it makes a lot of
More like
fucking
an emotional loss, right? Like some people, they get in a trade and it wrecks them. It does absolutely the opposite of what it should do, and it just leaves them emotionally scarred. Like I know for me, Kenya, I don't care what the fuck. Like I don't even know if that project is still alive, but I had so much, dude. I was so excited to like this is it. This is the Angie's List of Australia, bro. We're gonna be rich. And I will never touch that shit ever again as long as I live. I don't care what the chart looks like.
dude. I mean, it depends, right? Like trading, like you can't. Like, when the trade setup's there, you know, like I'll trade XRP. I don't give a shit. And I see people like I'll never trade this. Like, I mean,
well, yeah, for me, it's not a fundamental thing, right? Like, it's not like, oh, this is so bad. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll trade anything for that reason. It's just, like for me to put it in my delta again would be just opening a wound. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you gotta open the wound and put salt in it.
Welcome to crypto.
You gotta learn from it, but I mean, when you're in those kind of trades, and especially some of these projects that are kind of iffy on fundamentals that aren't tested, it's like get in, make your money, get out, just be safe, and don't think this thing's gonna change the world. I feel like that's why a lot of people got burned in crypto, was because they thought this was the next Bitcoin, And I was guilty of that in the beginning. I was always trying to find the next big thing, when really I should have just got in and out on a lot of these plays.
Well, I mean, look at tonight. Tonight's the prime example, right? The next big thing, according to everybody right now, is Caliber. And in actually looking at the project, so it's just, you got to actually take off the rose-colored lenses and stop doing what everyone else says and actually look at things for yourself. And when you do, whatever. Sometimes you're disappointed. So I know we wanted to talk about OTC and escrow services. I think that's something that's very important. So let's get into that a little bit. Last show, Will Bearman, you mentioned that that everyone should gain some experience in OTC trading, just for the sake of doing it if you're going to be in the space, because it's an important part. So I mean, I don't care. I don't know if you care to elaborate on that. Did you want to talk a little bit more about OTC?
So like going into OTC, we kind of covered it a little bit last time, but you want to, go to their Discord channels and everything. They typically will have like an OTC channel. Go in there, you try to find a verified escrow. Always do escrow. Like never do OTC without escrow. Always have an escrow there. Look at their fees. Look at the cost per coin, and it's kind of annoying in escrow because OTC, you're getting it in the most speculative way you possibly can. You don't know what the market's going to do when the coin comes out. So that's where a lot of times you got to look at, economics of the coin and the block explorers, because most of the times they'll have a block explorer even up before. Obviously, like that's something that you need to look at and try to look at the rich list and know the distribution of wealth going on the chain. So like when you do OTC, a really common mistake is the person doesn't get a verified escrow dealer. They send their Bitcoin or whatever to some middleman. The middleman's working with someone else on the other side, saying they're going to give you a really sweet deal on the tokens, and then you say, oh yeah, I'm getting this steal. Like this guy bought like 3 times what I bought. This guy told me some sob story that he can't hold this until it gets on the market, and he needs to offload his bags. Like I've heard that so many times, and they give you like an unrealistic number, and then they just like take your Bitcoin. And yeah, I mean, you just gotta, OTC is just you doing the exchange's job that's, out there right now. Like OTC is just over the counter. You are literally figuring out how to get a coin that's not on market. You're doing a peer-to-peer transaction. So that means you have to take everything into your own hands. So most legit Discords will have like verified OTC guys. And then you just make sure if it's in Discord, you look at their name and you look at their number, and you got to make sure that they're the same. And I know this sounds scary and everything, but that's just because I'm telling you how it is. Like there's a lot of people out there that want to take your cash. So you just gotta verify everything. Just verify it with whoever else is in there. Like there's verified sellers a lot of times too. You just, oh, also, you need to tell them, like, don't go in there saying, hey, this is my first OTC deal or anything like that. Come in there with like a number, and you can do that by looking at what other people are going for in the chat, and then act like, you've done this before, because it's another way that they'll try to take advantage of you. But most of the time, OTC, if it's done right, it'll happen really fast and it's really easy. If it's kind of if it's not a reputable person, there'll be hangups and it'll take a lot of time, and you'll, that's when you know to back out. Like if it takes a long time, just back out. I think that will cover it.
Anything you want to add to that, Walken?
Yeah, he basically touched on everything, but yeah, kind of like I talked about last week, like make sure you try to get a decent price and don't overbuy, because I've seen a lot of people end up getting wrecked buying OTC, and then it lists on an exchange for like half the price, and then you're sitting on bags hoping that it pumps. So
yeah, that's a good point too. Like another thing is when you're buying OTC or you're mining something that's not on exchanges, you got to remember, like it's pretty much like an ICO, right? Like you're assuming that when this project comes out to an exchange, that it's going to go up in value. So you're being very speculative of what this project can do, and if it gets hyped up too much in OTC, it is so easy for an OTC market, because it's not there's not a lot of volume there. It's really easy for a market in OTC to get hyped up and overbought.
Yep.
So for the most part, OTC, I like it for miner perspective. You can mine your coins and then go sell them to other people that can't buy them or don't have miners. So, yep.
Yeah. I mean, as a trader who, any of these spec mining plays, I mean, frankly speaking, a lot of the time that's where I'm looking now. I'm looking OTC to see what these prices are like, and like with CAL Caliber went nuts very quickly. I've seen other OTC desks where in the matter of 15 minutes these things go 2 or 3x because one person is just outbidding the next person, outbidding the next. It's like in real time watching people FOMO that aren't, and you feel bad for these people, but I mean, somebody's going to be on the other side of every trade. And in this case, there's a lot of people that are going to be bag holding. Because right now, I think what's happening is there's a lot of people that are just moving towards proof of work coins, and they're trying to get them as early as possible. So a lot of the people that are on these Discords buying OTC, they don't mine at all, right? Yeah. So they're just buying it to get a bag, and it's dangerous because you're in an environment where, people will help you part with your money.
And Watkins, have you talked about Nice Hash on here? Because I think that's probably like a pretty good spot for people to learn how to kind of what mining is like before getting a rig. I don't know if you talked about that.
You're talking about like buying contracts?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another play. A lot of times these coins will end up getting contracts and partnering up with Nice Hash. So basically you can buy hashing power to mine the coins. Another caveat with that, once again, don't overpay. I was actually talking about this with my Telegram group today. There was another coin, I can't remember what it was, but people were paying like almost double the price for the hashing power than they should have been. So yeah, that's another way if you want to try to mine a bunch of a coin, just get a contract out with Nice Hash. Like when Raven Coin first got listed on Nice Hash, it was insane. People were buying up contracts, like the difficulty went astronomical. I think this was back in like March or April.
Yeah, and Nice Hash too is another way to make money as a miner. I mean, you can sell your power, your hash to people that don't want to deal with having a rig, right? So, just another way to kind of think about. Like, I know a lot of people don't want to get hardcore into mining right away, but this is a way for you to just look and see what it would be like with throwing some Bitcoin to these contracts.
Cool. All right, well, guys, is there anything else that you wanted to cover today before we sign off here? Any closing thoughts?
So no. I was going to say one more thing really quick about the OTC, but really kind of the after part. So as a warning, when these coins first get listed on exchanges, don't buy them right away because most of the time they get marked up in price. And there's always like 1 or 2 miners that say F it, that have a bunch, and they will market dump the hell out of a coin. So just be leery, especially if it goes on Trade Order, one of these exchanges that have like no liquidity, you'll get wrecked. So PSA.
Just the 2x on the OTC desk, buy and flip, and then just hold your BTC and wait for the exchange listing.
Yeah.
So you have opportunity for that. And chances are, if you're seeing it on Twitter, it's already too late. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. We're going to wrap things up. But thank you for those of you who've tuned in and joined the conversation. We will be back next week, Tuesday or Thursday. We'll figure out which time works best for us. But we will be on at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.